desires. But obviously, the optimum way of amending the Constitution is to look at as many issues as possible, so that you take advantage of the cost and the time. You know, amending the supreme law of the land will ordinarily take time. It will take expense and resources. So you want to do it as best as possible. But granted that you can amend a constitution even partially, there are certain safeguards which must never be deviated from, and these are standards that are in the law. They begin with Article 79.
Right.
In Article 79, the Constitution recognizes, first of all, that this is the supreme law. It is the only law that is written by the people themselves. But the people are also aware that they delegate a specific body, which is the legislature, parliament, that can make laws. And those laws may also include touching on their supreme law of the land, to ensure that there is no threat of an overreach by the legislature on the supreme law of the land. Forget the other laws. The Constitution has put certain safeguards in Article 79. What are those? One, it says for Parliament to touch the people's constitution, there must be demonstration that before first reading of a bill touching on the Constitution, that it must have been published in the Gazette for not less than 30 days. Why? The people are interested that there must be some publicity accompanying any change of their law, because this is their power. So that's the first safeguard. If a constitutional amendment process were to bypass this procedural legal safeguard and not be published 30 days before first reading, what it means is the product will be illegal for violating express provisions of Article 79. There's a second safeguard. The second safeguard is that the bill must be supported at second and third readings by votes of not less than 2/3 of all members of Parliament. This again is for the people's protection, that indeed if a day will arise where their law, the supreme law of the land, is amended, they themselves would have, through their people, the representatives, have supported it not by simple majority, but by more than 2/3. These are written in the Constitution. In addition to these, in Article 79, the courts of law have added additional legal safeguards for amending the Constitution. And these are the ones that are contained in the case of Celestine Mkandila and Munia Zulu versus the Attorney General. What are these? What the Constitutional Court has said, in addition to the bill that must be published 30 days before the first reading, gazetted, the bill itself, in the framing of the areas to be amended, must have been contributed by the people themselves. There must not be an executive or government on their own unilaterally drawing these or framing. That's what the court uses the words, framing amendments must be done by the people. But how do people frame amendments? What the Constitutional Court is saying, you must appoint a technical committee. The technical committee will proceed to look into previous submissions, let's say constitutional review recommendations of the past, plus consult the people on what areas they think can be amended. Once the technical committee hears from the people and from the records, it drafts proposals, which is the bill. This bill must then be taken again to the people at district, at provincial, and at national level discussion to check whether this bill, which eventually must be taken for gazetting 30 days before first reading, is a reflection of the people.
I will stop you temporarily, at that stage. We will revisit the process. I want to bring in first. I want to welcome Ms. Katebe. Welcome, to the program. Good to see you. Let me clear this. Before we get back, what are we discussing now? Why am I asking, this in a question? As far as I know, as far as people who understand the process, which you have explained, very clearly, there's no bill that we're discussing because the Constitutional Court, threw it out. Could you make it clear what exactly we're discussing now?
Again, that's very important, and I want to be very clear. So, what the Constitutional Court has said in the case that I've highlighted, which is Celestine Mukandila and Munia Zulu versus Attorney General, is to say, if you want to amend the Constitution, before we talk about the safeguards in Article 79, we are adding additional steps that must be complied with. Otherwise, the process becomes a nullity.
Right.
And what the court then went ahead to do is to say, having looked at the proposals, which at that stage were proposed by the Minister of Justice and culminated into Bill 7, there was no evidence, according to the court, that one, there was a technical committee appointed to consult the people in framing those proposals. Because there was no such evidence, the court said the procedural legal safeguard has not been complied, number one. Number two, they said, apart from the committee, which must drive the initiation itself, the framing, we are also not, there's no evidence here that after the framing has been done by the people, you went to the second stage of consulting the people on these proposals forming the bill. Any process that does not comply with these legal safeguards is a nullity. And therefore, everything in Bill 7 was a nullity. That not before you even reach Article 79. So the court declared the initiation process of Bill 7 a nullity.
Why then did the government, in this case the president, ignore what the Constitutional Court had ruled and went ahead and appointed a technical committee? It's important that we make these issues clearly, because there's just been amazing emotional reaction to whatever has been going on.
I'm not sure why, but what the government
let me put it this way. Is the president in order to have ignored what the Constitution Court said and went ahead and restarted the process?
If I hear the government position correctly, is that the appointment of the technical committee was a compliance with a judgment.
Right.
The problem is that it was not a full compliance of the judgment. As I indicated to you, the judgment places legal safeguards. There are steps, as if I can make it very simple. First, number one, appoint a technical committee.
Right.
Step number two, ask the technical committee to consult the people on framing, just framing. What areas of the Constitution do you want amended? They may say, we want Parliament to be touched, we want provisions on the judiciary to be touched, we want election-related provisions to be touched, we also want the Bill of Rights to be touched. The people will frame the constitutional amendments. The technical committee will ensure that these submissions on framing are collected and generate an initial draft. After this stage has been done, that is when you go to consult the people on whether this is a reflection of the changes they want.
Great. I'll be bringing in Ms. Katebe very, very short. Just one other, clarification. I pick out consultation. There, and the court did indicate that there was inadequate, consultation in this exercise, in which the government, proceeded, to do. Was there adequate consultation? How many people representing the 21 million people should be, consulted? According to the calculations, only 1% of the 21 million have been consulted. In terms of the electorate, maybe much less than that. If we have to take 5 million as the number of electorate. I'll be bringing in Ms. Katebe now very shortly how the oasis comes in. My question: did enough people consulted, and is there a cap of how many people should be consulted?
That's a good question. In fact, the fundamental question is there is no prescription of how many should be consulted.
Yeah.
What the Constitutional Court expects is that there must be demonstration that at district level, at provincial level, and at national level, there was some consultation. But the fundamental flaw with the current process is that the consultation is only with regards to amendments that were never framed by the people. You don't go and consult the people on amendments they never framed. They must have first told you, we want 13 things amended, we want maybe 20 things amended, we want even 100 things amended. That is a report that the committee will put in place. Right. After that has been done, you then go to the people and consult them as the technical committee did. But the technical committee has no mandate to consult people on amendments or proposed amendments that never came from the people. The Constitutional Court says the people are the owners of the Constitution and they must be involved in framing the issues that must be amended. Here, we are consulting on proposals that came only from government. That is the fundamental flaw.
Has the process been hijacked from the people, Ms. Katebe? And I'm going to ask you a lot in a question. That's part of the question. The other part of the question: how does the Oasis Forum, come in? At whose invitation? Who are you representing? And also perhaps the other NGOs yesterday who were making submissions at State House. Which people were they representing? Finally, please also comment about what went on at State House yesterday when even fellow civil society organizations were angry, maybe that's an understatement, against the Oasis forum. Please, your submission.
Thank you so much. Indeed, it's loaded. I may even forget some of the
we'll remind you.
Oh yes. So firstly, when you talk about the process and it being hijacked or not, that one is very clear now. I think we all have heard what Council Lungisani has just explained. He has explained it so well, and I like Councillor Lungisani, though people tell me that at times I become deliberate when I'm speaking. He is much deliberate and slower so that he makes people understand. I think the process as it is flawed. If what Councillor Lungisani has explained is what is expected in terms of process constitutionally, in terms of process by the court judgment, then we are talking about a flawed process, which we don't know exactly what government is trying to do. And when you talk about consultation, in the process, Councillor Lungisani has talked about consultation, and government is already indicating that the reason why the technical committee was constituted was for the purposes of them going to consulting on what? That is what Councillor Lungisani has just explained to us. Consulting on what? How can you consult me on something that did not come from me? If the process says you should first come to me, collect, go back, frame, come back, consult, then that is different. And when government says they have gone to the people and consulted, it is what we are referring to as a flawed process, because much as they want to engage the people out there and sugarcoat whatever it is that they have done wrong and term it as a consultation, it is still saying no by law that they have not consulted in the right position. So we would still insist, because it's not too late, that government gets back to where it is supposed to be. Withdraw Bill number 7, go to the people, consult, and then begin the process. Yeah.
Who were you representing? No, who are you representing? Because people have said they're questioning who you're representing. People would also question those who went to State House, who they were, representing.
Thank you very much. We are representing the people of Zambia. For example, I'll give examples. NGOCC is a mother body of 118 member organizations. I'll just give you the members of just one organization because I know it very well. This is where I'm coming from. Just Zambia National Women's Lobby is a member organization of NGOCC, and it has members more than 7,000. That is what we are representing, and this is just one organization which has such kind of members. So then I'm trying to put to the nation that when we say NGOCC is representing its members, we are talking about multitudes and multitudes of people in this country. Let's talk about ZCCB. It is a huge organization. How many Catholics do we have in this country? So that organization is representing that kind of let's talk about professional bodies coming from LAZ. So we let's talk about Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia. So we are representing a lot of people in this country who gave us the mandate to represent them.
You were ripped apart, in particular from the Center for Policy Dialogue. Another bishop ripped apart the Catholics, that they've no right to talk about this because the Catholic priests don't have children. Very strong words. What was going through your mind?
It's just quite disappointing that we can have people go in public and discuss such kind of sensitive issues. Really, apart from the Catholic bishops not having children, I want to believe that they take care of more children than we do in our homes. They are given those parishes to run, and all those people in those parishes are their children. So if they say they come on board and want to protect the constitution that is being raped in the day, whilst everyone is watching, and you call them, they have no mandate to represent anyone because they don't have their own biological children, I think that is an insult. That is an insult not only to the Catholic bishops, but also to those who are barren, to those who have never had children, and they still feel this is our constitution. Because if I don't have children, my next door neighbor has children. Those are my children. The people of Zambia are my children. People are just trying to protect the constitution, which is the right of every citizen. This morning before I came here, my daughter started reading a civic education book and said, "Mommy, I'm trying to read this because I want to understand why the people of Zambia are not looking at this from this perspective." But then again, maybe it is important that we started teaching civic education in public fora so that people are able to understand. There are people that are passing comments like, even if Bill 7 goes through, I still remain in my house and I still remain beauty. So what? Really? Is that a comment that one who is sitting in this country and seeing how the constitution is being ripped, commenting that it's okay because I'll still remain beauty and I have my own house? What about the next person? What about your grandchild? What about just to follow the rule of law?
Yeah, I know the listeners must be shouting at me and saying, please ask the pertinent question of the contentious issues that concern you and why you went to State House. Before we get there, are you surprised that some churches, conventional churches, are quiet? I'm not saying they should take sides. If they want, they can do that. Why are some of the conventional churches, not taking a lead role like the Catholics, are saying? I have to ask these questions because these are the questions the public, want, to know.
I always in platforms like this decide not to speak on behalf of anyone, because really I wouldn't know what is going in their minds. Like some musicians sang and said, "Umutu wa mnobe chalo chimbi." I really don't know what they are thinking about. But then it becomes a problem to me, and maybe I'm also considering what my daughter said this morning, that maybe we need to educate the masses. If we have education, if we know what we are going through, if we know where this will take us, I think a lot of people would rise.
I will be getting back to the council very shortly to talk about who should be driving the process in a normal situation. But let me focus on the meeting that you had with the president. First, why did you respond positively, knowing that the process had already started and maybe a position had already been taken? What were you expecting? 3, what was the mood, the environment? Okay, what form did the dialogue take, and what is your take on the form it took? Deal with those, and then we'll get back to who should be driving the process.
Okay, thank you so much. So for us, we decided to go on the streets to have a peaceful demonstration, and the president responded, asked us to go and meet him, and we were very happy because it was actually a very positive way of resolving issues. And we knew that definitely the president wants to hear why the Oasis Forum is against what he's doing. And we took it very, very positively, and we commended the president because that was very good leadership from his part. And when we went there, I would say that much as we were not publicized as the other group was, we were given the latitude to present our issues in the manner that we needed. And at some point, it even got to a point where they felt we were a bit too harsh, and tempers or emotions were rising. And at the end of the day, we concluded. But after we left that place, we reconvened as Oasis Forum. And we thought, after analyzing what was going on and how the debate went and how adamant both of us were, because I would say we were both adamant. We were adamant because we were following the law. They were adamant because they wanted the process concluded. So we were both adamant on our positions. And even when we agreed that we were going to meet in a smaller group, we still sat and said, even the smaller group, looking at what we went through at State House, may not achieve what we want to achieve, because, like I've said, they were adamant on proceeding, and we were adamant on them following the law and withdraw the Bill 7. So we decided to actually stop the dialogue, because we knew that we were for lack of a better word, we were wasting our time, because our colleagues were also adamant and bent on meeting their timelines, because they have timelines set. So that is how come we withdrew and wrote a letter which we handed over on the 30th of December to the smaller group. We told them that we were not going to be part of this because of the adamance from both sides.
The million question, Ms. Katebe, there's mixed reaction to this, in terms of the pieces, the articles, and there are 13 of them. Just give us your position on your concerns on these 13 pieces.
Maybe, Your Excellency, I wanted to come in
please
just to before that question. I wanted to just contextualize the dialogue. In a dialogue, I mean, I'm a lawyer, and I know you go in a dialogue in a give and take, with a give and take stance. Why? You want the dialogue to really result in something tangible, something that will progress the discussion going forward. But what the dialogue cannot achieve is to nullify legal standards that are placed in the law. It's not within our powers as Oasis Forum of its introduction on the floor of the House. It must be gazetted. We go to a dialogue table and say, no, let's get rid of that. It's beyond us. We can't go to a dialogue table and say, the law says, look, not less than 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly must approve this bill before it can go ahead. We go on a dialogue table as a Oasis Forum and government and agree, look, the bill is so nice, the terms, delimitation is such a good thing. I think let's get rid of this 2/3 requirement. All the other requirements, which are also in Mukandila case, are the same legal standards. So we can't go on a dialogue table and say, look, the law expects that the framing of the amendments must come from the people. We go on a dialogue table as a Oasis Forum and say, no, even if the law says that, I think let's just take the ones you have proposed, even if they didn't come from the people, and deal with their merits. It is not our call. It is a constitutional safeguard that the law has placed on. So you can't go...
Make it very clear to the listeners, because it's very, very important. Simplified. Are you saying, Councillor Zulu, that the government is flouting the Constitution? It's ignoring what the Constitution says on this process. One arm of governance is in this case seemingly superior than the other arms of government, in this case the judiciary.
Yes, so what we're saying is the Constitutional Court
Yeah.
has been categorical, very clear and unambiguous. What they are saying is this process must be driven by a technical committee. But having a technical committee alone is not a compliance of the judgment. So have a technical committee, one. You are on the right track. Stage number 2, go to framing the amendments to be made to the Constitution. Don't give the committee to consult the people on amendments that come only from the government, because you are gagging the owners of the Constitution. They may have more pressing issues. So the committee's first job is to frame the amendments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, consulting the people. What do you think can be amended? Only after they have been framed and put as proposals do you go to the people as the committee did.
Right.
Government is saying merely having a committee and consulting without involving the people in the framing of the amendments is compliance. That's not something we can negotiate.
What are the consequences of that today and tomorrow?
So what would be the consequence of passing an act to amend the Constitution without publishing 30 days in the Gazette? What would be the consequences of passing a bill amending the Constitution without 2/3 majority of Parliament agreeing? The product is illegal.
All right. I'll be going to Ms. Katebe to specifically talk about the contents. You know, since you have talked about the legalities, you know, let's move forward now that the report has been presented, because I think this is what people now want to hear. You would say there's still time. The government is saying the report has been presented. Next stage, Parliament. Is this illegal? Okay, what is the process now? Going to Parliament after the report has been presented. Council.
Well,
there is seriously, there is no process now.
There's no process.
There is no process now other than just government trying to.
But the government is saying this report now will go to Parliament. If I understand, it will go to Parliament, and the president has told you if you have got any issues with that, go back to court.
The process is a nullity. Where Bill 7 is sitting is an illegality. So really, it's difficult for us to even comprehend.
Clear this, Council.
yes, please.
The president says it's going to Parliament.
Well, I think I see where government is saying, look, if you, Your Excellency, I tell you, the procedural safeguard, not made by Oasis Forum, made by the courts, is 1, 2, 3, 4, plus safeguards in Article 79. When I tell you this is a requirement that must be complied with, you are the executive, you are the facilitators. If you decide to take it to Parliament or tell me, look, for me, so far as I consider this, I think I've complied. After all, the meat of the bill is so good, it will develop the country. Therefore, these things you are insisting on, I've already complied them. But look, the letter of the law is clear. You tell me no, even if it's clear, if you're not happy, go to court. What can the people do?
Nothing.
So government is driving the process as they deem fit. It doesn't mean it is legal.
All right. Talk about the contents and also make reference to the decision the government has made that it goes into Parliament, and they may get the numbers, and this may be law What are the consequences? What is the impact on elections and governance as a whole?
Maybe the consequences and impact the council can handle that.
Yeah.
The content, really, we have decided as Oasis Forum not even to discuss the content. The
Why?
reason is
are there no good things in there?
There are a lot of good things, but the process is flawed. So we cannot jump the process and go and talk about the content.
And maybe just also adding to that discussion, constitutional making is people-driven. So when we begin to talk about the content, I think it's simplifying the discussion to say, tell me, what are you against? Without understanding the history of, but who brought these to me? Who told you these are the only things that the people want amended? But even then, granted, delimitation is a topical issue. How would you ask citizens in each and every constituency of this country, 156 of them, to support delimitation without knowing where the delimitation in terms of increase of the constituencies will happen? Everyone is submitting, yes, delimitation is good, it will bring development. Are you telling me there will be 156 new constituencies because everyone is supporting? Shouldn't the conversation begin with putting in place or publicizing the delimitation report so that you who is in Chavuma, knowing that your constituency may not be one of those to be delimited, you then have a better conversation. Say, look, in principle, I wouldn't oppose, but I oppose the way you want to delimitate. Why are you taking, let's say, 100 constituencies, new ones, all of them in Eastern Province? I don't think the citizens would react to a delimitation discussion the same way if they had all the facts. So to say, what are you against in the content?
Maybe even having all the facts. The question is, if I was to be asked today, if I want, or if they started with me, I would begin by asking myself if, for example, our parliament has capacity to host the 211 members of parliament. Do we have that capacity? What will happen? Are we coming up with the law that will sit on the shelf waiting for implementation because we are supposed now to create a room where these members of parliament will sit? Are we saying that some of the members will sit on the terraces? I don't know. I really don't know. But we are doing this because it's...
You're now talking about the cost element.
Exactly. Yeah. The cost element in terms of space, in terms of...
Have you done any homework as to the cost element if the members of parliament were increased to over 200?
Yes, we have done that.
What is the cost
apart
element?
From, I don't know if you can remember off Kauf.
1.7 billion or some
1.7 billion.
Yes. I stand to be
Something
corrected.
like that.
But there's some.
We can't remember off Kauf, but we have already done all the tabulations.
Let's talk about the delimitation. That is another source of concern. Again, the mixed views to this. Others are saying it will be more representative. How is that going to be done? Council, what is the criteria to divide a constituency in the rural areas, in the urban areas? Are there rules are governing that? And who is going to do that? Is it ECZ in consultation with the political parties?
And all this conversation, Ambassador, speak to why an amendment of the Constitution cannot be a 12-day event. It cannot be rushed because there are different pieces that must be carefully considered. Cost is just but one of them. When we go to proportional representation, how this will work out, is this the best way? What are the lessons from other countries where across the river, of course, Zambezi, others have condemned even this proposed way of appointing extra MPs because of what they call creating merely flower girls, people who are appointed merely for, patronage. They have nothing to offer to the people. They are mere cadres. How do we ensure that we elevate representation of the people and ensure that Parliament benefits from the holistic skill sets that is available in the country? These are conversations we must be had, and because it's our supreme law of the land, no one should point a gun and say must be done by tomorrow, otherwise I'm closing. That is a missed opportunity for the country.
The president.
And also the worry is how delimitation is being communicated to the people. To the people, it's like if delimitation does not come now, then development will not come now.
Yeah.
It's quite strange. A lot of people, we went to Solwezi with council and the rest of the WASIS Forum team, and people there were like, why don't you want the government to undertake the delimitation process? Because here we have huge constituencies, and that is why our areas are not developed. And you wonder why communication or information cannot be given in full to the people. Who says that if a constituency is big, then it cannot develop? Who says that when a CDF is being divided, it has to be divided by the number? Who says that CDF cannot say a Kamwala constituency, because you are smaller, we'll give you 10 kwacha, and Nyumbayanga constituency, since you are big, we'll give you 50 kwacha? I don't know if it is by law, council, that constituency funds should be divided by the number of the constituencies. Why can't those that are implementing that look at the size of the constituencies for now and divide the same money that is there according to the size of the constituency, so that development is taken to even huge constituencies using the same resources that we have now?
This is the letter people talk about. Is that we're looking at constitution process, and we'll be going to news headlines. When we come back, we'll be asking who should be driving this process. Is it being driven a political expediency, and is the timing a source of problem? Since we've only got a couple of months before the elections. My guest, Beauty Katebe, who is the chair of Oasis Forum, and Council Lungisani Zulu, who is the president of LAZ. Join us very shortly after the news. This is the edition of Let the People Talk, and we're looking at constitution reforms, and my guest, Lungisani Zulu, who is the president of LAZ, and the lady of the moment, Beauty Katebe, who is a chairperson of the Oasis. Before I go to the listeners, and I'd like to give the listeners as much time as possible, and talk about the listeners and the people, Ms. Katebe. I see that there's always emphasis on the importance of consulting the people. When there are disputes, the people have no forum, where they can participate in terms of resolving the disputes. Why do I say this? Even the representatives, members of parliament, who are supposed to represent their views, are compromised. Where does that leave the owner of the document? Because it's the people who are supposed to be the owners of the Constitution. Your take on that?
Really, when you look at all that and wanting to have the platform where people can express themselves, especially if we consider this process itself, the one that we are talking about, which is being driven by the executive. That is the arm of government that is driving this. They have the right in their own right, because they are the ones that are sitting in the driving seat, to do what they want to do. And that is with impunity. When you look at what happened, for example, when we went to State House, we were given coverage of 5 minutes, and our colleagues were given coverage of the entire time that they were there. It still remains with who is driving and what do they want. Is it what the people want? Is it what they want? Also, when you look at that, my appeal to the people of Zambia is to analyze also the two situations. The time that we were given and the time that our colleagues were given already shows how biased the executive is, especially on us who have the opposing view. We could have still wanted to be aired as well, so that the public knows and understands why we are opposing the process. But we were not given that chance, and it has become a trend in Zambia that you only do what you want to do at the time you want to do it, not when it is required for you to do it.
Is lack of media sensitization a serious omission in this process?
I think so. Media sensitization and also commitment by Zambians. If I were on the proposing side today, and I look at what happened in the last 2 meetings of the opposing side and the proposing side, I would see it as a Zambian and reflect and see why it has been handled in this way. Why are we being lured to believing that this is what is positive? So openly so. Yeah, so it's the sensitization and also commitment to governance issues by the citizens. We need to commit. This is our country.
There have been reports of some members of Parliament. These are rumors. That they've received, gratification. If this is true, does that make this process suspect? And what are the consequences of that?
The consequences are that the people of Zambia will be betrayed by those that they entrusted with their interests and aspirations. It will be very disappointing. There is a list that is circulating of members of parliament that have allegedly gotten the money. If it doesn't end in the manner that we expect now, and it goes to parliament and we see it go through, then definitely we will confirm that those members of parliament on that list have betrayed the people that they came to represent over silver and gold.
None of them on the list, has come up to defend, themselves, and does that add credence?
Maybe elsewhere, but one of the things that we are doing is to try and see if we can meet members of parliament and appeal to them to do the correct thing and follow the law, because legal procedures must be legal procedures. Yeah, so we intend to have a meeting with the members of parliament and just appeal to them in case this slips through what we are trying to do and gets into parliament. I think it will be their responsibility to protect constitutionalism in this country.
Before Councillor Zulu comes in to talk about the desirable...
No, actually, I wanted to contribute on the issue of MPs.
Yeah.
One of the campaign activities for against Bill 7 by Oasis Forum is really writing to each and every member of Parliament, urging them at this critical hour to uphold the will of the people. And there's a petition that is going out. I know a number of MPs that are signing this to come forward and assure people that they will not betray their trust. The beauty of any voting on the constitutional amendment is that it's not a secret ballot. So citizens will know who is on their side and who is betraying them. Going forward, they will decide whether these are the people that they would want to continue to entrust public governance to. And that process is ongoing. We hope that as many MPs as possible will come forward and declare publicly that they will not support. So I'm aware that there are a number of MPs that are signing. We will know and announce them so that when the time, if this goes all the way, people will know who are the betrayers of the people's will. And then, going forward, the people would decide what to do with those people.
Is the opportunity to talk to the government gone now? It's closed, or is there still a bit of room to revisit, the discussions, the dialogue?
I think in the letter that OASIS Forum, signed by the chairperson, has indicated to the president, is that because of the legal safeguards which have not been complied with, it is pertinent that Bill 7 is withdrawn from Parliament. Secondly, a fresh, holistic process with sufficient safeguards is commenced, and that process should not be rushed. It must also be holistic. OASIS Forum remains available to support any fresh action to amend the Constitution in line with the legal safeguards. So we would quickly jump back on the table. If government says, look, we've heard you, these are not things that can be dispensed in a dialogue forum, there's a fundamental problem. We cannot sacrifice those safeguards. They are not made by us. They are made by the Constitution itself and the Constitutional Court. Whether we like them or not, we have to comply. If government complies, we'll be back on the table and contribute to a process which we believe would birth a legitimate constitutional amendment.
Some people have accused you, Ms. Katebe, that you're worried that there's something in there, that favors the UPND, that if all these issues, were complied with, the UPND stands in a better position to win. Is that a fair, accusation?
No, that is not a fair accusation. As I said earlier, we have not even delved into discussing mainly the clauses because they are sitting in a flawed process. So as OASIS Forum, we have not delved in that.
Right. And finally, before I open the lines, Council, what is the desirable, position in terms of the dialogue on the constitutional reform process and the way forward?
I think the country still has room to do the correct thing, but the correct thing cannot be done based on a bill, whether the bill itself or the content itself, which didn't come from the people. The people are the owners of the Constitution. And in fact, the court stressed in that judgment of Mutubila versus Attorney General that although the legislature is given power to make law, when it comes to the Constitution, that power is that of amending and not framing the amendments. That's an important distinction. So framing the amendments is the reserved power for the citizens. Passing it into law, that is the function that they must do. But you cannot usurp people's power to frame what they want amended. And it's possible that citizens can say, look, because of the timelines and all, maybe we only want two things to be amended. If that's what the people were saying, they would have framed the amendments. Then the committee will sit down and make that into a bill and go back to the people and say, is this what you were really saying to be amended? So there's still room to do the correct thing. And what we are saying as Oasis Forum is there are many ways this can be done better, including appointment of the committee. So don't appoint people in an individual capacities. Benefit from constituencies where those people are coming from. There are members who are lawyers on the technical committee. They're not representing LAZ. So if they have a challenge as they are discharging their mandate, where do they go to? Nowhere. There are members of the church, maybe one or two, who don't represent the church. So if they have a challenge, so when you are a delegate of a bigger constituency, it means the bigger constituency is on the table. Because any challenges you may have, you run to the people that sent you. With the current committee, no one can run to anywhere. They are only loyal to the appointing authority.
Just one little item to clear, about the time, remaining. What is the time remaining, before this process, is null and void in terms of, going to, to Parliament very quickly?
It's very hard to even, piece two pieces together, because remember we've said the bill as it currently stands in Parliament was officially, the initiation of that bill was declared unconstitutional. I don't know what government is trying to do, whether to get the new bill that has been drafted by the technical committee to replace Bill 7 and still call it Bill 7, or it will be a new bill. It's very difficult to appreciate the way government wants to sanitize this process.
I'm saying this because the Parliament will be on recess.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes.
Where does it stand then, in terms of time?
Yeah, so I know by standing orders that after 6 months, a bill would lapse. I think it hasn't yet lapsed, or we don't know what will happen before the period for lapsing comes. So we would know once government takes its further steps going forward what they want to do, whether they're amending the bill with the new contents from the technical committee. The challenge remains the framing came from government and not from the people.
This is let the people talk, and I think we've laid the ground. We've dealt with major pertinent issues, but I'm sure you may have a different perception of this process. Now is your time. My guest again, Beauty Katebe, who is the chairperson of the Oasis Forum, and Lungisani Zulu, who is the president of LAZ. The lines are now open. Two 268 for one. Number to call us. Do we have somebody on the in a line? 2268.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Frank?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning, dear council. Good morning. I'm Mr. Nguni calling from Champara, Chingola.
Good morning.
I want to thank you for the good you're doing. The president, Mr. Ase, should not think that all Zambians are gullible. There is only a small fraction of gullible people in Zambia. Mr. President, why do you want all to like Zambians that you are sincere on earth?
I'm afraid your line is bad. You can try again. 2268 for one. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. 2268 for one.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name, please.
How are you?
I'm fine. Your name?
Thank you very much. I'm Mutubila, a senior citizen. You are talking to Lukul Voice on the line.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Last President, how are you?
Very well. How are you, Lukulu Voice?
Fine. Beauty Katebe, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much. Okay. Let me say this. To disagree with you of what you are doing, you are not with the Zambian people. What I can just tell you that you are with the opposition, and those who are against the government, who are against Fakandishima by the name. That's what I can tell you. This is a man who called you. He wanted to go to the street to demonstrate.
according to that good leadership, he told you that that's not the way to go. Because in that street, when you do that, the other thing that will happen, what will happen? Are you going to be answerable? It will be anarchy. It will be like those days we are coming from, and you last president, as a member of PF, you know what used to happen? So we didn't want those to happen again.
I'm not a member of PF.
This constitution that we are talking about now, these are amendments. They are only 13 clauses if you will go to the terms of reference. And we submitted. You were told to go submit. So if you had agreed with the amendment, with the process, could have gone there and state your position in the ring. You don't fight outside the ring. So why are you complaining? Who is people's representative? 156 MPs is the Zambia itself. Those are the people's representatives. Simple. So the final resting place for that bill is Parliament. So you can't argue, you can't say no, the way it was done, okay, it was done so badly. Are they closest part? Are they good? Yes. So if you want to ask, we are still going to amend because after 2026, that will be another time again, we'll see which other things are non-contentious. Why are you trying to confuse people because you are using that because you are a lawyer? This is constitution for everybody. It's not just designed for the lawyers only.
Could you quickly wind up so that we can have other people?
Well for this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 2268, for one is the number to call. Would like to appreciate if the callers are diplomatic and respect, my guests. It would really, really appreciate, just like the guests respect the listeners. 226841. Hello. Hello.
Nado, good morning.
Good morning. Your name, please.
This is Oscar Kaniki.
Yes, Oscar.
From Ndora.
Yes, Oscar. Yeah. What is the question?
My question is there any law that bans the president and the executive to propose any amendments in the Red Council? Tell us if there's any law that bans the president to propose any amendments. Thank you.
Okay, 2268 is the number to call us if you've got any submissions. 2268 41. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, your name, please, and your question. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a radio? Could you turn down the radio?
Frank Mutubila, Katebe once more you go. We are going to abantu bapena. We are going to Bakapate Shamu into Zambia and Popular Fwa. Rand wa you win your week. Wakaunda Baji to Ebele. Umulo mo, Mama no Boko Tulea. Monoko Tulea. Balungu Bakachikwa.
Excuse me, could you just ask your question, please? Thank you. I know there are emotions attached to this subject, but please try and just stick to the issue and ask your questions. 226841. Good morning. Morning, your name, please.
This is the Special to Katebe, Good morning, the panelists.
Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number one, Natasha Awasisi, Nigombere and Mulegomberamo, my temperature Zambia. Lelon de Bremanga, my awa ikusete house ama sepenti baba UPND ebi bale tukaba abafatuka ko katolika atumo bale tukarekeresha ekuishima ma sepenti tabe mini patisuma iyo so madam Katebe poseni ilipete stata mwalino ko ale tuchingia tena Zambia ayama sepenti tayari my friend yo ifeto adipole tabao pa ifeto matabana kutwa badi you 7 tapale ko do 7 havena Zambia pretanga ina mayo
Efena Zambia seven that to party being 7. That penetrate referendum that is 7 ever chipon. So the 7 number 1, Yavena Zambia, the Anamai, so that you can for Zambia to fill out for by PNG. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Panel, could you address those issues? And in addressing those issues, you could see that there's the emotions are high. There's even anger involved. How have we arrived, this? And I think it's important, that you give answers to how this can be addressed, considering that we are now proceeding towards the elections, so that we can avert any violence. Council.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the submissions from the callers. I want to begin by being very categorical. There's an allegation that I have been a member of PF. I've never been. I've just been a lawyer. In fact, I always boasting that I have never even been to any political rally, whether for PF or any other. But that's besides the point. I think what we're discussing is how do we improve our country in terms of the governance, because the Constitution is the foundation of any governance. Any governance of this country must be benched on the Constitution. There was a question specifically in terms of whether there is any law that bars Parliament or government from proposing. I want to be very categorical. Yes, there is. According to the judgment of Celestine Kandila versus the Attorney General, government must not be the one to frame the amendments. In fact, in paragraph 43 of this judgment, the court says there is no evidence on record of any process involving a structured engagement with the general public leading to the articulation of the proposals in the impugned ministerial statement exhibited. The one that was exhibited here are the ones that are proposed in Bill 7. Equally, there is no evidence on record of any submissions proposing the changes announced in the ministerial statement. Neither is there any evidence of the appointment of an independent entity to facilitate the initial consultations and garner the required consensus. To the contrary, the ministerial statement shows that the source of the proposals in the said statement is the government.
Right.
This is disturbing, and a look at one of the proposals in the ministerial statement shows why. It is on that basis that they concluded that we declare the decision by government to initiate a constitutional amendment process before undertaking wide consultations with the people goes against the spirit of Articles 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 61, 90, 91, and 92 of the Constitution. So is there a law which stops government from proposing? Yes, there is.
Right.
This is the legal procedural safeguard so that the people's power to amend the Constitution and to make the law unto themselves is not abused.
Right. How do we address, this current, environment?
I think I also want to go back to where Council Lungisani was called PF, and I want to indicate to the listeners out there that the work that we do as civil society organizations is always blamed to connect to political parties. There are very few that understand that when we are working not for our interests or the interests of political parties, but the interests of the people of Zambia, because this is our constitution. Just in April, I was accused being UPND. Reason was we said we welcome the amendments proposed by government as long as it is transparent, consultative, and inclusive. But the media did not pick but it should be inclusive, consultative. And they reported in the media that NGOCC, I'm now talking about NGOCC has welcomed the amendments. And people were up in arms. People named me UPND. People named me all sorts. So ours is to provide checks and balances, not aligning to any political party. So you will see that today we are saying no to what has been proposed by UPND because it does not sit well with the people of Zambia, and that is our mandate. Tomorrow you will see that the same UPND that we are saying no to on the issue of the constitution, we will be supporting them and be on the same platform with them. So please take that in mind. We are not politicians. We are civic leaders. Thank you.
And perhaps this speaks to the earlier question that Ambassador you asked, which is who do we speak for? I think as civic leaders, as lawyers, as civic leaders, as the church, in addition to the members that fall within our particular grouping, we also have an obligation to speak for the voiceless in society. This is a responsibility that is imposed on us because if we are given this knowledge, if we are given this responsibility at this particular time to be in these leadership positions, it is to use these positions to further the interest of the entire citizenry. We don't use this voice for our selfish interest. We must use them and articulate issues so that when people understand and they fully appreciate where we are coming from, they know that we are doing it only because we have been advantaged to have the information, which if they had, would have also been articulating to the same way.
226841 is the number to call us. This is the Tuesday edition of Let the People Talk. 226841, call us now.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Uncle Frank and the panelists. You know, I think since there was this forum in the government, I failed to dialogue. The only honorable thing that they can both do is to let this matter go to court. Because all in all, you know, this country is always debating on political issues. We're never progressive. Developmental issues are put aside. And we're always, you know, politicking. And from what I've heard the council say that, you know, they have to sit down with the members of parliament so that they can talk to them. They have to sign that document to say that they are with the people. Why can't they let the MPs exercise their fundamental right? And that fundamental right is for them to use their independent voices. Like that, it would be more like, you know, just telling them to say, this is what we want. So you must be with us or not. Let them stand for what they believe is going to be right or wrong. Let them vote. Let's give them a free will. You know, this country is going to be in flames just because of you politicians and you, the so-called CSOs and the like. Huh? The way you are taking this country as if it's your country, both of you. We are 21 million Zambians. And we're interested in this country, not a section of you people, the people in government and you as CSOs. No. That is not right.
Thank you very much for that. 226841 is the number to call us. 226841. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Morning, your name, please.
Morning, Frank. This is Honorable Mkosa. Good morning, Balong-san. Good morning, my sister Katebe there.
Good morning. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. For me, I think we are in a democratic country, and it is very healthy to have different views like you are doing. But we need to understand that in a democracy, there's nothing that will be agreed 100%. When Alongisan was talking about going to the people and the proposals must come from the people, is Alongisan not aware that we have had 3 constitutional review commissions, and when you look at those 3 of them, you find that all of them they are speaking to one thing, which the proposals that are being proposed today came from those reviews. I don't think we can continue going back doing the same thing. This is what you have done even to this process. You have made this process to look bad because you have been arguing without any tangible clauses that you can quote. You are just talking the court. We are talking about what are the laws that the government has broke. Huh? You went to the court. Some went to the court. The court threw the petition. Why are you not going back to the court if the government is doing something which is contrary to the ruling? Why do you want to go to in the street? How do things being resolved in the street or on the round table? And how do you go to negotiate? This? I think let us be sincere to ourselves and let us be sincere to our country. We need to move forward. These amendments are good for the nation and are beneficial to the nation. That's why you are staring even to point to one clause which is bad. You are just saying the process. Hey, the what? You are given an opportunity to submit. You decided to sit back. Why are you complaining? Continue sitting back. Allow the process to go through. We want to commend the president, what he said yesterday. Let this bill go to parliament. We want people with disabilities, youth, women, and other groups, marginalized groups, to be part of the governance of this country, not out of the way of somebody who's on top there to say, let them appoint them because they have a will. No. Let us protect our youth. Youth have got no muscle to battle with these old folks, us old folks, when it comes to politics. Because really they have the intelligence. They are competent, but they don't have the resources. Let them be protected or being given that opportunity through the Constitution. I think this is my humble contribution this morning, Frank.
Thank you very much. In responding to that question, Council, if, let me put it this way, is the government position, role in the Constitution making a stumbling block? Could you replace the government? Because people are saying the government is a player, referee, and coach at the same time.
Well, I think the question is very important, and I think we must appreciate what role government must play. Again, I'll look like I'm just focusing on the judgment, but I think the judgment makes answers a lot of questions that members of the public have. What role must government play? According to the court, government and state actors should be facilitators of a people-driven process led by an independent committee of experts. Now, we don't have legal safeguards that I spoke of, including...
Just give me a moment.
Yes,
I think there's a caller, frantically trying to to get through. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. This is Mombipiri.
Yes.
Beauty Katebe Nabalungisani, hands up to you. You truly stand for the people of Zambia. Those who are speaking good English with confidence, who are not seeing anything wrong, or try to educate them, other than being a parliamentarian, not once but twice. The way I know, I served under two different speakers. the late Amusa Mwanamwambwa, let his soul rest in peace, Naba Matibini. The way I know as by parliamentary procedure, the way they took the Bill 7 to Parliament, when the court ruled that it was unconstitutional, those people, the Minister of Justice, was supposed to withdraw that bill from the floor of the House. Now me, I'm wondering what is going to happen. Ngabai to Alanakambi, that Bill 7. Are they going to continue or what are they going to do? The procedure is not even clear. And when they say we want women and the youth to be represented, who is going to appoint them? Is it the president or the political parties? Because it's not clear if it's proportional representation. The process is not clear. So let them not, but to pange kwati bonse to akulira kumushi. Nena kiadiro kumufulira nduwa kuchinsalisha ikalako no kuikala. Tule muleka kwati tuli batutu. It's not fair. And you go and get yadiama churches, that bishop was insulting his fellow bishops. He's an aspirant for Tumfuira, Tukulufuanyama. Can you tell us how many children Jesus Christ has? How many wives did Jesus Christ have? When he was insulting our bishops who have no children and wives because that's what they chose. And I feel very sad. Akana kashinako kana nkoko kale yumfa noku yumfa atishane simbo igakalanda. She's not even ashamed, the girl child. Anyway, I'm not surprised because we have highest institutions of learning, of governance, like the National Assembly, the Concord, the Electoral Commission, even the Vice President of women who have no shame. We had women, as I conclude, by Beauty Katebe, who had less education than Vanedi Mutina Vana Lumangu. Think of Bamba Machesa Kankasa, Bana Mulundika, Ba Fulano. Those women had very little education, but they had dignity. These women have even lowered the bar of women to become president because of what they are doing. I'm so ashamed. I'm telling you, but keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In your submission, starting with, Ms. Katebe, I'm worried. I mean, without being, I've also been accused of 101 things, after spending 55 years in the media and served 7 presidents. I mean, there's no way I can take sides. I like, delving into issues. I am worried that an issue like this, as important as it is, we can't find a consensus, and it can consume us for the rest of this year up to next year, and a lot of things will be at standstill. Very important issues like putting food on the table. Ms. Katebe, before you come in with the issues, the legal issues that have been raised.
Thank you so much. I think, yes, we are finding ourselves in a very awkward position, even on a matter as important as a reform. The reason I think all of us now know is that in the past, the politicians would talk about politics, tribes, and all that. It never went down to you and me. Unfortunately, we have allowed the politicians to infiltrate their thinking in us now as ordinary citizens. So when an issue is on the table, you are looking at who has done this, which political party do they come from, which tribe, which province, which... I think if we go that way, we are going to ruin this country. we are going to destabilize our children, we are not going to achieve anything, because we are being political, we are being tribal, we are being regional as we handle the national matters. Let us refrain from that as Zambians.
Council, that there was a very important caller, a submission that let Parliament decide what?
In fact, that's a question which all of us, and it's a pity that this is a deja vu process, because we have been here before. We have had Bill 10, which we were all galvanized and agreed this doesn't make sense. At that particular time, and the problem was the consensus. At that particular time, together with the government in power now, it looked like what we were saying was making sense. But to those who were in government, it looked like what we were saying was just political, and we were UPND surrogates. 4 years later, we are back at the same debate. Now we are dealing with a different bill, but same conversations remain pertinent. Now, as I stated, government is supposed to be a facilitator of the process. There's a reason why the law builds safeguards in itself to ensure there's no abuse. If you bypass safeguards, tomorrow it may look like what is being proposed is okay. So because we have relaxed the safeguards, tomorrow someone will propose something very ridiculous. Let's abolish the judiciary. It disturbs government. You will then line up 3, 4, 5 people to support this is a good thing and all. But if you are using safeguards, immediately such a proposal comes up. The first question is, which people proposed this abolition of judiciary? We don't care whether he's a good person or is a bad person. We just measure you using the same standards. So the safeguards in Article 79 and the safeguards in the Constitutional Court's judgment are to save society. Because when we lessen the standards, what will come, the precedent we are making, is that we'll be debating a constitutional amendment depending on whether we love the current leader or not. If we hate them, we'll relax.
We'll end up personalizing, is such an important, document. We'll take in one final caller, 1 or 2 perhaps. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning. If we can really hurry up.
My name is Zongo. Calling from Lusaka. One of the most concerning things for me is when the law is not followed. It is very sad when one part of a section of people they don't have to follow laws, while the section of other people. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. When it is actually bad when one section of people cannot follow the law. It's okay. Like it has been explained there. You still see people call and start castigating people who have explained clearly about the importance of following those processes. It's like you go to a hospital and they don't give you instructions on how to get your results. Like for me, I work in the lab. There's a certain procedure or the SOP for me to give the correct results for someone. So if I do something different from that procedure, the results I'm going to get will not have any confidence in them. So how people are able not to follow the law, do things that others do, and then they should go on and we should allow it. People are forgetting to say that is another bar. There will be another set of politicians who will come, and what they will do to this country, people would have given a precedence of people to just look down at the Constitution and not follow the land, the laws of the land. That Constitution is something that will save the future of this nation. No one should be above, not even the president. Everyone should bow down to it. because it is a prerequisite of our future as Zambians. You know, let us be like the Westerners people. You can do whatever you do, but one thing they will not allow you to do is to frown upon the constitutions of their country. They protect their country with their life, but here what I'm seeing is if you are just against something, then people will call you names, you are what and what. I think it's very unfortunate. People need to be factual. And it's sad that even when facts are thrown in their face, people will still go around and just...
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will actually wind on that, take that submission on board and use it as a basis. You know, where do we go, you know, from here, my two learned guests, and then what are your expectations, you know, in terms of 2026 elections in view of the issues, you know, that we have dealt, you know, with, you know, this morning? Ms. Katebe, to start with.
Thank you very much. For me, I think I want to indicate that we need to look at this process like the just previous caller has mentioned, with a lot of interest as Zambians, knowing that no one is above the law. If the law has not been followed, let it be followed. It's not too late. And also as Zambians, we must ask ourselves the question, why is government rushing and not following the process? And then that takes us to 2026 elections. If we are rushing to formulate a law or to change something in the constitution, is it because of 2026 elections? I think those are the questions that the people of Zambia must begin to ask themselves. Why the rush? Why rush and touch the constitution? That is the question I want the people of Zambia to answer. And then when they do that, then they begin to align themselves with what we are about to get in 2026. Thank you.
You did mention, you know, during the meeting, you know, in reference to the president's stand, you know, that you were surprised. This is a gentleman you're with in the dungeons, you know, when you are fighting Bill 10. Did you expect anything different?
Well, looking at where we are coming from as Zambians and the platform that our Republican president had, and so many promises that he gave us, personally, I was like, now we have a president that will not give us problems in terms of handling the national matters. So it's quite challenging for me to even mention here that when I see that we are fighting on Bill 7 and fighting with the president that fought Bill 10, I was thinking that he will feel the same way that he felt when he was on the other side. When people said no to Bill 10, he also said no to Bill 10. I was thinking he would sit in State House and think of how those that are saying no are feeling like, and then he puts himself in that shoe, and then he will remember what he went through, and he puts a face of a national leader, not a UPND presidential, a presidential, national presidential leader, and not UPND president. I think that will help us.
Yeah. Council.
Ambassador, thank you so much for hosting us here and this discussion on constitutional reform. I just want to stress that from Law Association of Zambia's perspective, we have an obligation, which is cast in Section 4 of our founding statute, to contribute to using law to enhance society. So it would be a miscarriage of justice, an abdication of statutory duty, if we didn't read to the members of the public that you made this law and these are the standards that you have placed upon yourselves to safeguard the Constitution. You may not like what I say. It may look like I'm making the job of the government a bit more difficult, but I'm just reading that these are the standards. Are very categorical. Appoint a technical committee, ask the technical committee to go out and ask people to frame the proposals. The technical committee sits and then drafts the bill and goes back to the people at district, at provincial, at national level. After this, you go to Parliament 30 days before Gazette.
Yeah.
Then second and third reading, 2/3. These are safeguards. If the public says no, ignore the safeguards. Tell me, LAZ, what are you against in the content? We have lost the discussion, because tomorrow's content will be to declare or to abolish the Bill of Rights. Then Zambia will cease to exist as we know it.
All right. My final words really relate to me. By the time I come back, I think it'll be a day after, Christmas, 5 days before I clock 55 years in the media. Thank you, listeners. Thank you to my family, Radio Phoenix, for giving me this opportunity to serve, my country, the country which I love, very much. By the way, we'll be leaving the studio very shortly, both of you. Let me ask you this question, starting with, Beauty. When we leave this office and you meet Jesus outside, what conversation would you discuss with him?
I would ask him to give the people of Zambia the peace and the understanding of issues. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Council.
Our national anthem is very strong.
Yeah.
It's God's good hand. God's good hand blesses our people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be asking Jesus to continue his good hand blessing the people of Zambia, so that we remain united, even in our diversity, for the purposes of progress of our nation.
God bless you too. Thank you for being my guest. God bless you, Zambians. Here comes Jesus. Come, Jesus. Sissy Winers. Good morning.